Isn't it funny that out of ignorance I got a United States citizenship? There are two types of United States. The way I take it is that each state is actually like a country unto itself that basically had a diplomatic agreement made between them to be united together. As a free person, a free individual, you have to be a national of the state in which you were born, or perhaps live. I would have to be a California national, since here I am. It's like I immigrated into the country of California. But you see, what they did, it's like they made two countries on top of one land territory. I will put the names of the countries on the screen, and the capital letters actually matter. There is the United States of America. If I'm not wrong, that's what the founding fathers created. That is what's protected under the Constitution. Then there's an entity called United States in capital letters that appears on all the documents and forms we use. That's like a legal fiction. That's like a foreign country overlaid on top of a physical country. If I took a map of United States of America and I laid a clear sheet of plastic or something over it so you can see through it, and the clear sheet of plastic is the new make-believe country, and I labeled it something else. You understand now? And the same thing is done with the people that are born here. Soon as you're born, you get converted into a vessel or a legal fiction, and you are given a birth certificate, and you are assigned a name that is your name if you read it, but it's all in capital letters. So that's not your real name, that's your legal fiction name. Look at your driver's license and all the documents. Your name is in all capitals. They did the same with states, renaming them. California is not the same as State of California, or the two-letter abbreviations they use like CA. Anyway, it's too much to go into. Now, I think that this applies to the entire Western world. I think this scam was pulled in every country, or almost every country, especially any European country you're born into. They assign you a birth certificate, right? You're born in France, you get a French birth certificate. You're born in Russia, you get a Russian birth certificate. So they're doing the birth certificate thing, scam, everywhere. So I'm assuming that in every European country, at least, they convert every child that's born into a legal fiction. So the country I come from, I was probably a legal fiction there. So it makes me wonder, when I immigrated from one legal fiction entity into another? Because being a citizen of United States, capital letters, is to voluntarily be a slave. When they give out the birth certificate, they assign a wrongful status to you under the law. So you become not like a human being, but this fictitious entity, a ship lost at sea to be salvaged or plundered by anyone. And that's how they can tax you and give you traffic tickets and shit. Now, on the wedge world order, as this capital letters vessel, you become a commodity that gets sold like some kind of a stock market type thing. They're buying and selling you, and it's constantly increasing in value. This is the CES2KV trust, and if you go through the process of reclaiming your minor estate and correcting your status, there might be a few $1 million in there that you can use. You can claim that few $1 million. You will also get out of paying taxes. They can't tax you as a human being. Nothing IRS does is law. Or I guess it's law under this capital letters United States thing. So they're taxing this capital letters vessel that you see on your driver's license where your name is in capital letters. By being a citizen of United States, it's like you're a government employee of the city-state of Washington, D.C., and you got the corporation enforcing its will and regulations on you. Most laws are for the vessel, they're not for actual human beings. You don't need a license to drive a car. Basically traveling for personal reasons, you have a right to travel. Unless you are a commercial driver, such as a bus driver or an interstate commerce truck driver, or you drive a fire truck. Anyway, so what I should have become was a California national, gotten a California passport. See, this guy does not mention what it is like for immigrants where all this shit is concerned. In these videos, he's giving this presentation in Utah in front of a bunch of Mormons. It seems like there were only a few people that weren't Mormons. Now, my stepdad might be able to understand from this why these Mormons are so fucking rich and why they won't talk about how they worked to accomplish all of that. See, I want to be an immigrant into the actual United States of America and be one of the we the people under the Constitution, not into this fucking capital letters legal fiction of what you are all a part. Every one of you watching this video, I bet you're all a part of this capital letters legal fiction. See, if you read this book, Fruit from a Poisonous Tree, you will learn that you're all actually foreigners because you're all citizens of United States. So it's like you're aligned to a foreign country while occupying the physical geographical territory of United States of America. And under this system, you don't own your house, you don't own your car, you don't even own your dog. The state holds the title to your house, the state holds the title to your car. You bought your car and then you registered it. You just gave it away to the state, and you paid out of your own pocket to do so. I paid a licensing fee for my fucking dog. United States now owns this fucking dog that you see on the screen. That's pretty fucking scary, isn't it? My stepdad could file paperwork with the State Department to get rid of his social security number, which is your slave identification number, and go through the process to correct his status and reclaim his minor estate. Maybe he's a fucking millionaire. Maybe he has a few million in his SS2KV trust. That way he can stop living as a legal fiction and be entitled to whatever money the central banking powers have made buying and selling his vessel. They continue buying and selling people even after they die. But anyways, my stepdad would laugh at all of this. To him, this David Straight guy would have to be an absolute charlatan. Nothing of what he says can actually be real. It's fucking ridiculous. My stepdad would not budge an inch to attempt to actually do any of this. But he needs to fucking hurry up. He's going to die soon of the gene therapy drug that everyone took. His cells are now making a certain protein that's going to destroy him with miniature blood clots. So he needs to hurry up and reclaim his SS2KV trust and buy me a huge house where I can live as a lazy fuck amid piles of trash, never working. But see, my stepdad would never do this, because to him this is a crazy conspiracy theory. This isn't real. He would just tell me, you don't want to be a citizen anymore, you can stop being a citizen, you'll just have to go back to where you came from. You see, when I try to explain things, my frame of reference based on what I have learned is actually going on in this reality is light years away from the frame of reference which stems from absolute ignorance that these people around me possess. So when I talk about anything, it's like if we both have a book open, but it was two different novels by two different writers. And the person I'm talking to, I don't know that they have a different book open. And I'm looking at page 36, and I'm reading one thing, but they're also looking at page 36 in their book, and it's something totally different. And I can't get across what it is that I see and what it is that I know. And they respond and say things to me based on what's in their book, and here I am idiotically assuming that they have the same book open as me. You know what I'm afraid of in regards to this? What if you claim your Sester KV trust, but instead of millions, there's like $100 in it, and that's it? So you just gave up your social security number. You can't get a job in most places without it. But you can get out of paying taxes and vehicle registration and all that bullshit. If my vessel was being bought and sold on the market this whole time, how much could it possibly be worth? Everyone who is born, the International Monetary Fund imbues that person with $1 million. And then that $1 million is basically getting invested and reinvested and reinvested, and it grows. But in my case, is that $1 million still there? Supposedly you go up in value if you get like a college education, a degree, have a high-paying job. But I have none of that. I never even officially been employed. So I have to wonder, if you are 25, for example, and you've never had a job, and you've been smoking pot and playing video games in your mother's basement every day, will you have millions of dollars in your SES2 KV trust? I don't know. I also have to wonder, just as a side note, when they allow illegal aliens into this country, are they really considered to be violating the border by crossing or violating the law? Or is it considered that they are crossing into United States rather than United States of America? Because if they're crossing into the corporate fiction, then it's like they're walking into a building through an open door. The corporate bosses can let them in. Washington, D.C. can just say, come right in. Some bum shows up at the doorstep of some office tower, and the boss upstairs calls down to security and says, "Oh, I want to be charitable, let him in. We'll give him some food and a place to sleep. It's all above board." And if the guy is a nuisance in the building, well, that's too bad. Anyway, my stepdad needs to correct his status, and he needs to do this quickly before he dies. But he won't. Pay attention when you fill out your taxes. Do you have to check off something that pegs you as a resident of one of the United States territories like Guam or Puerto Rico? Because the territories are part of the United States fiction. It's how they created a second country to overlay over the first. You didn't think there can be two countries in the same geographical territory, with one that is basically imaginary. And if you allow them, with the birth certificate and all of that, to claim you are a citizen of that imaginary country, and you keep signing off on it in your ignorance, well, you're fucked. You made yourself a slave voluntarily out of your ignorance. And that's why the Constitution doesn't apply to you. That's why they can have unconstitutional laws. Anyway, work has run out for stepdad. There are shortages of building materials, like the kind you'd need for home improvement projects. And everything is so expensive that if you're planning any kind of remodeling in your house, you're gonna need a much, much bigger budget than you did a year or two ago. And people are finally catching on that this economic collapse shit isn't going away. There's a shitstorm coming, and now is not the time to be upgrading your kitchen cabinets or whatever. That's a frivolous spending of one's money. So there are no more jobs for my stepdad. My food is running out. In about a week, I will probably have to start looking into killing wild animals out here somehow. Maybe a rabbit or a coyote. Gonna have to come to terms with eating a coyote. The cash that I saved up, if we were to continue paying rent, we could prolong staying here maybe 2 months, and then we're gonna have to go into a homeless tent somewhere in the wilderness. See, we're going to get kicked out by the scum Freemason fucking landlord. He's got money to blow. He can rent out a bulldozer and buy up truckloads of dirt to build hills out here and shit. So he has no problem doing construction projects, even with the economy being what it is. I hope he took the gene therapy drug, but who knows? Because people like that have to be fucking depopulated off this earth. Now, is it better to just be homeless than try to correct your status? And if I correct my status, then will I not be a citizen of United States anymore? How do I become a national of United States of America? I don't know. That makes things tricky for me, I guess, when you weren't born here.